events which will likely lead to forced displacement, loss of cultural identity, and other related risks. These realities are as real as rain. Stay tuned to KBLA Talk 1580 for more details about the most progressive multimedia and live events campaign any black media outlet has ever undertaken to combat the climate catastrophe. Experts, events, empowerment. It's all on the way from unapologetically progressive KBLA Talk 1580. We don't black down. We level up.
Level up, 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 level up.
Timbo, Neo, Loso.
I'm a movement by myself, but I'm a force when we're together. Mommy, I'm good all by myself, but baby, you make me better. 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 You make me better.
Of course.
You make me better.
You plus me, it equal better math. Your boy a good look, but she my better half. I'm already bossing, already flossing, but why have a cake if it ain't got the sweet frosting? You're keeping me on my A game without having to say name. They may flame, but shorty, we burn it up. The sag in my swag, pep in my step. Daddy do the Gucci, mommy in Giuseppe's. Yes, it's a G thing. Whenever we swing, I'ma need Coretta Scott if I'm gonna be king.
I'm a movement by myself.
I see what you did there, Andy. I see what you did there. You were locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. This is the show where we hit all the trending topics across entertainment, sports, lifestyle, and culture. I, of course, am your host, Jill Munroe, struggling with my decision to wear a hat tonight, but that's okay. I'm cute. Want to check it out? Hit up the YouTube channel. We are at live KBLA 1580. You can get the visual experience to go along with this audio experience tonight while I figure out how I can rock my swag and still hear what's going on. We're going to work through that tonight. Listen, it is Tuesday, and as usual, we have a lot to talk about. First up, are you following us on social media? If not, hit us up, KBLA 1580. I'm, of course, at Stiletto Jill everywhere. Make sure you do that. If you want to join the conversation at any point tonight, the phone number, 800-920-1580, 800-920-1580. Drop your opinion on us. We love to hear it. Talk about it. Exchange ideas and thoughts. Things of that nature. All of that good thing. Of course, let me run down all of the topics that we have for you tonight, because they're plenty. They're plenty, you know. So, first hour, you got that Coretta Scott King reference. Andy, always bringing us back, keeping us in the pocket. So Jonathan Majors, you know, he is right now going through a trial, being accused of some assault, little domestic violence, and right by his side currently his current girlfriend, Megan Good. But in court today, it was revealed that allegedly Jonathan had some very specific demands of his ex, of who he wanted his ex to model after. We're going to get into that. We're also going to talk about Jamie Foxx. He was honored last night at the Critics' Choice Awards. And, you know, Jamie got a little emotional because he walked to accept his award. And he expressed how about 6 months ago, he wasn't even able to do that. So we're going to get into those comments. And also, Jamie, he's tapped in. He knows what you guys have been saying about him. He knows. So we're going to talk about that. We're also going to get into, you know, Latavia Robinson, formerly of Destiny's Child. We just saw her all together with her former group members at the premiere of Renaissance. We know there is a moment in the Renaissance film that all, I guess it's DC5 at this point, share together. But in an interview that just went live with reality TV show producer Carlos King, Latavia shared the struggles that she went through once she left Destiny's Child, and also got into something that has been confirmed but rumored and confirmed again about she and LaToya's relationship in the past and who they were dating and how that also impacted their roles in the group. So we're going to get into that. In addition to that, we're going to talk a little bit about Cam sliding in Nia Long's DMs. We're going to read you the DM that he sent to her, if you think that game will work. We're also going to get into Angelina Jolie. She's ready to leave LA and Hollywood behind and has a destination in mind. And also, a former Detroit Piston is taking the blame for Draymond Green's bad behavior. We're going to get into all of that. But before we do, we have a couple of conversation starters. These are topics, things that are swirling around social media that we just don't have time to get all the way into for the night. First up, Suge Knight has his podcast from jail, right? And in a most recent one, he was discussing, and they also showed video, what he heard about Puff back in the day. Of course, he's going to jump in. And somehow, some way, a photograph has surfaced of Suge Knight with a young Justin Combs. It was rumored back in the day that Misa dated Suge at one point in time for a minute when Puffy was not necessarily handling his business, allegedly, with Justin, and before she got with her now ex-husband. So, people are not being shy. They're letting all of the things go. And Suge is not going to miss an opportunity to be a little bit messy, just a little bit. He also talked about on his podcast, he showed a scene, it was he and Tupac at the California Love video, and they seemed to be shouting out Diddy and Biggie and shouting out the women that they were with. Sounds like they were referencing Faith and maybe Misa. I don't know. It's online. It's on the interwebs. Check it out. Let me know what you think. Things were very messy back in the 90s, as we see. When we come forward, we're going to get into more trending topics, more headlines. We're going to let you know who Jonathan Majors wanted his ex-girlfriend to model after her behavior. All of that and more. You're locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580.
Boom, boom. KBLA Talk 1580 wishes you a Christmas season that is merry and bright. Happy holidays.
Santa baby, just slip a sable under the tree for me.
Did you know there's a way to outsmart COVID if you get it? Now there are medicines that can treat COVID, whether or not you've been vaccinated, which is great news, especially if you're over 50. If taken in the first 5 days of having symptoms, COVID medicines can help stop the illness from getting serious. Call a healthcare provider or the statewide COVID hotline at 833-422-4255 to learn more about COVID medicines. Brought to you by the California Department of Public Health.
For all of us, this generation and the next, there is simply no place in our lives for litter. And yet, it's everywhere we look. And unfortunately, it does belong to all of us. So, let's come together and create a litter-free, clean California, once and for all. Remember to properly dispose of your trash and recycling. Secure truckloads with tarps to keep debris from flying out. Clean out your car when you're at a gas station. Take pride in your community by organizing a cleanup event. Or join a cleanup event near you. Zero litter is the goal. Join us at cleanca.com. That's cleanca.com. Let's do it together. Brought to you by Caltrans. cleanca.com.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. Single Moms Planet is a nonprofit organization dedicated to uplifting under-resourced single mom business owners and working mothers nationwide. Single Moms Planet offers comprehensive programs of financial literacy, business development, mentorship, and entrepreneurial training. They provide education, accountability, and hope. Single Moms Planet was founded by model, TV personality, and producer Nefertari Plessy. Nefertari felt firsthand the challenges that face single moms as she was raised by a working single mother. She learned that the most disadvantaged group in the United States are single mom families. According to the U.S. Census, 30% live under the poverty line. So she decided to do something about it, along with co-founder Cole Patterson. Their goal is to end the poverty cycle in single mother households through education, opportunity, and networking, providing family and child enrichment programs for under-resourced single-parent families. Single Moms Planet serves over 10,000 single moms and their children each year. Studies show that business development and financial literacy provide a positive environment for children and families, exposing them to new possibilities and opportunities. To attend one of their fun events, make a donation, or get more information, or if you need help as a single mom, please visit singlemomsplanet.org. That's singlemomsplanet.org. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Hey, keeping you informed, entertained, and always ahead of the curve. This is RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
You are locked in to RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. So listen, there is a lot going on for it to be December. We're supposed to be slowing down for the holidays, right? Getting into, a more jingly spirit or something. I don't know. It's way too much action. Well, first of all, shout out to our YouTube channel and the subscribers there. We recently passed 7,000. So if you are one of those subscribers or you have shared a video, hit like, left us a comment, even you people that go in on us, we appreciate you for checking us out, for sharing, for following. So tell a friend so they can tell a friend, and always, always share. We like that. We appreciate you. So just wanted to take a moment and acknowledge that. Listen, we talked about Suge and, him dropping these jewels from behind bars on his podcast, the Collect Call podcast. Also, don't know if you were a Daddy Yankee fan, if you were big off into reggaeton. If you were, he has announced that he is retiring to devote his life to his religious faith. He did a farewell tour, La Meta, which means the goal, and Sunday night he announced in his home state, I guess you should say homeland, that makes more sense, of Puerto Rico, that he was giving it up. You remember Gasolina. That was the start of the reggaeton movement. What I remember about that is MTV declaring that hip-hop is dead and that reggaeton was going to be the next big thing and it was going to supersede hip-hop. And we never saw that happen. And now, coincidentally, if you weren't aware, there is someone that is basically suing every artist within the reggaeton genre because the allegation is that everything in reggaeton comes from this one reggae song that they have interlooped and that it is played in all of these songs. So that lawsuit was filed some time ago, and I know artists, several of, Bad Bunny being one, can't remember who else, have moved to get the suit dismissed, but it has not been. At any rate, congratulations to Daddy Yankee. It's a big decision. People, when you get that calling, you can't question someone's walk with God. So, blessings and prayers up to him for making that choice. He said, "My people, this day for me is the most important day of my life, and I want to share it with you because living a life of success is not the same as living a life with purpose." So, that's a big decision. Good luck to him and congratulations on that. Okay, so let's talk about your guy, Jonathan Majors. We know that he is currently in a Manhattan courthouse dealing with charges from a misdemeanor assault case that stem from a situation that happened with his ex-girlfriend back in March. So his new girlfriend, Megan Good, was in the building with him, accompanying him. His girlfriend, Grace Jabbery, in the opening statement from, okay, wait, let me back up. In Jonathan Major's attorney's opening statements, they claim that Grace is basically seeking revenge and accusing him of domestic violence and harassment because he made the decision to end their 2-year relationship. So the district attorney, Michael Perez, claimed that Jonathan demanded total compliance from his ex. Total compliance. Discipline by the inch. I added that part in. So allegedly, he said that she should conduct herself in the model of Coretta Scott King, Marvin's widow, or former First Lady Michelle Obama, by making sacrifices for him. And she should do that because he is a great man, like those men were great men. She got on the stand and played a recording that she had made on her iPhone of Jonathan Majors shouting to her, telling her she needs to tighten up and get that Michelle Obama or Coretta going through her system. He said, "I'm a great man, a great man. I do great things for my culture and for the world. The woman that supports me needs to be a great woman. 2 nights ago, you did not do that, which took away from the plan." So during her testimony, she also recalled an incident that allegedly happened in July 2022 when he supposedly began throwing things at her at their West Hollywood home that they shared at the time. And she showed a photo to the jury where she claims that he threw a candle into a wall, right? She also claimed that he would threaten suicide when he became upset with her. She shared an incident that allegedly took place in September of 2022 and said that he was a monster, that he was a monster and that he wanted to unalive himself because of his past actions, and he was in a place to do so. She said that she begged him not to go through with the act, and she had to make him feel safe, loved, and secure in order for him to back away from, I guess, what she is deeming emotional manipulation. So that's a lot. I suppose you don't have to be a black woman to say that you would like someone to model themselves after Coretta and Michelle Obama. There are worse role models that you can pick, but somehow it seems telling a 30-year-old woman that they should don the behavior of a civil rights activist just seems like a lot. I wonder, which we weren't privy to, what led up to these statements? Like, where did they come from? We know that we heard allegedly when the argument happened in the cab, it stemmed from she trying to get a hold of his phone to see who was texting him. Because you know how those things go. Who's texting us, bae? And supposedly he had already moved the train out the station. She just wasn't aware yet that her time on the Jonathan Majors Express was coming to an end. And she was angry, allegedly. So we will see how this all plays out. But I just wonder, do you dictate in your relationships? Do you give your significant other someone that they should model themselves after? I mean, again, I would like to know the context that led to him saying these words in this situation. That doesn't seem like something that just happens in a garden variety argument. I wonder what led up to it. Again, I'm not saying that she did anything per se or that she deserved to be yelled at. I'm just curious as to what was the surrounding context that led him to say that. Because what I will say that, how we, and when I say we, can be sometimes, I'm talking about us as Black women. We are very protective over our Black male stars at times, right? And we are also not wanting to be in a position where we feel used as a consumer. There was a wave a few years back about some performers that some felt like pandered to Black women to sell them products, music, shows to get their views, but in their personal life did not really have that love for them, right? So we've seen it happen where, again, these are kind of two separate topics but related. Not trying to imply that that is Jonathan Major's designation, but we've seen the conversation surrounding that. And what one will notice is that as Jonathan's star started to rise, there were fewer occasions that he was spotted out with his girlfriend Grace. You flip that on his newest relationship with Megan, and even though they're both keeping a lower profile, we definitely see them quite a bit holding hands, being affectionate. And again, I'm not saying that Jonathan and his ex were never seen out in the open, but you did kind of notice a decline on maybe their appearances when they were out and about as his stars began to rise. Another person that I recall that happening to was Jay Ellis when he was on Insecure. So, I would assume, and again, this is just an assumption that I'm just pulling based on some of the tea leaves that I'm looking at, not in any way saying that this is the circumstance, but I wonder if maybe some of that is some of the surrounding conversation, or maybe what led to the conversation that would lead him into that. I'm just wondering, just curious. In my mind, those dots connected, but we will have to see what further develops from the trial. As I mentioned, Megan Good is there looking beautiful, standing by her new man. And we will watch this closely because we know that there is a lot of money that is resting on the development of this situation. So Jabari also, that's Grace, that is his ex-girlfriend, testified that she recalled an incident in July of 2022 where he allegedly was throwing things at her at their West Hollywood home. She showed the jury a photo of the room where she claimed that Majors threw a candle into a wall. Oh, I told you that part. Yeah, and we said that he would, threaten to unalive himself. So hopefully, there is a peaceful resolution and that these things aren't, all the way true on both sides. I don't know. You just hope for the best because it's so messy. And then, of course, people are going to be looking at Megan Good like, what are you doing? Why are you doing it? And it's not fair that people will expect her to have to answer for whatever he did or did not do in a prior relationship. But that's kind of where we are these days. Okay, so listen up. You know that I am a fan of It Is What It Is, Cam and Mace podcast. And, there are some moments where they are definitely a little childish, a little immature, but I think that is part of the fun for some of the people. And recently on a show, actually it was on yesterday's show, they were discussing what happened with LeBron at the Rockets game on Saturday. And Cam shared that last year in October of 2022, and he's not lying because he actually had put this on his Instagram last year, that he sent Nia Long a DM because he wanted to be the shoulder that she could cry on following her breakup with Ime, right? So he said that it's still unanswered, but he sent this October 16th of 2022. And it says, "Hey, Stink, I was giving you some time to yourself till I reached out. Your perseverance as a strong Black woman through this turbulent time has been something to behold. You shouldn't be taken advantage of and exploited, as you did nothing to deserve this. Especially all over these sports networks, you're bigger and better than that. You're a queen, and by the way, I'm a king. Together we can achieve the greatness we were both destined for as a couple." Wait, what does it say? Oh, he says something in French. That means we have one life to live. Pardon my French, laughing out loud. As I sit here sipping gazpacho and watching The Best Man, I was inspired to... I can't believe Cam. I was inspired to reach out because that's what I am, the best man for you. I hope to hear from you soon, mi amor, or should I say, ni amor. I leave you with this. The most difficult thing is the decision to act. The rest is merely technical. Until the next time the sun rises and the moon falls. Red heart, purple heart, red heart, purple heart. Listen, watching how Cam moves first with Kiss, Keisha Chavez, Joe Smith's ex-wife, and now with this little DM drop. I mean, I did hear Harlem Guys were pretty smooth. It's funny. One day, because I mentioned, I think, that I'm on a skit on one of Cam's albums from back in the day. And one day, I'll share with you guys how I met Cam and what that conversation was like. But, you know, I'm happy for him and Mace on It Is What It Is. I'm glad to see that they got back together. I noticed that they have sidestepped and hot dodged that Diddy topic, though. They're not touching it. And I'm not mad at them for it. Some things you just got to hit your sideline and not get involved and wait for everything to shake and settle. When we come forward, we're going to get into more trending topics, more headlines. You're locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580.
It's that man problem. And when I feel like I'm tired, mommy be taking me higher. I'm on fire, but shorty, we burn it up.
I'm a movement by myself, but I'm a force when we're together. Mommy, I'm good all by myself, but baby, you make me better. You make me better. You make me better. You make me better.
RSVP with Jill Munroe is your go-to show for staying in the know. More engaging conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Amber Payton. Here's the latest on the Black Information Network. New York City Mayor Eric Adams' administration is seeking a break on the proposed congestion pricing toll for yellow taxis and school buses. Administration officials say the yellow taxi industry has been through big financial stress over recent years, and they should get a full exemption. Mayor Adams, who is Black, says he'll continue to share his views with the MTA about making sure traffic is not being displaced to the outer boroughs. Adams officials say municipal workers should pay the congestion toll. Officers with the Anchorage Police Department are now wearing body cameras. KTUU-TV reports the department has equipped 54 officers and their vehicles with cameras, and a total of 350 body cameras are expected to be installed in the coming months. The move comes after the Alaska Black Caucus filed a lawsuit against the city earlier this spring over the delay in getting the cameras implemented. That's the latest. I'm Amber Payton on your home for 24/7 News, the Black Information Network.
Light up your holidays during Jungle Bells. Enjoy nightly entertainment, festive treats, and interactive fun at the San Diego Zoo on select dates, December 9th through January 1st. Proudly supported by California Coast Credit Union.
Environmental justice, pollution, and climate. In Los Angeles and across America, people of color are suffering and dying from disproportionate health impacts on a planet that has less than 10 years to prevent irreversible damage. Heat illnesses, respiratory illnesses, water-related illnesses, food system impacts, insect-related diseases, black maternal health, and mental health effects. As the impacts of climate change mount, millions of vulnerable people, our people, are going to bear the brunt of these extreme environmental events, which will likely lead to forced displacement, loss of cultural identity, and other related risks. These realities are as real as rain. Stay tuned to KBLA Talk 1580 for more details about the most progressive multimedia and live events campaign any black media outlet has ever undertaken to combat the climate catastrophe. Experts, events, empowerment. It's all on the way from unapologetically progressive KBLA Talk 1580. We don't black down. We level up.
Level up, 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 level up.
Celebrate Southern California's health equity heroes at California Black Health Network's 40th anniversary event at Hotel Indigo's 18 Social, Thursday, December 7th, 6 to 9 p.m. Join us as we celebrate 40 years of advancing health equity for Black Californians and honor local organizations like Black Women for Wellness, the California Black Women's Health Project, Riverside County PEI, and the African American Infant and Maternal Mortality Project, December 7th. Buy your tickets now at cablackhealthnetwork.org.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 believes in community empowerment. LA's 99 neighborhood councils form the grassroots level of the Los Angeles city government. The system was created to connect LA's diverse communities to City Hall. While neighborhood council board members are volunteers, they are also public officials elected to office by the members of their community. Neighborhood councils advocate on issues like homelessness, housing, land use, emergency preparedness, public safety, parks, transportation, and sustainability. They also provide local expertise on the delivery of city services to their various communities. Neighborhood councils are open to participation by anyone who is a part of the fabric of daily life in said community. This includes those who live, work, or own property or a business. If you are interested in stepping up to join your local neighborhood council, visit www.empowerla.org. That's empowerla.org. It's time to think globally, but act locally. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Today, young adults face big questions about their future. How will you make your mark? Do you want to be part of something bigger than yourself? Are you ready to learn new skills and make new friendships? Perhaps you have a dream that you're ready to make real. So, how will you make a mark with your future? As you embark on a journey toward finding these answers, the military can serve as a resource for providing help, information, and opportunities. A public service message from the Department of Defense. To learn more, visit todaysmilitary.com.
Hey, Dad, how do airplanes fly? What's in this box? Is this tree good for climbing? How are babies made? What does this thing do?
Kids are curious about everything, including guns. Talking to them about gun safety in your home is a good first step, but you can do more. Always keep your guns locked, unloaded, and stored separately from ammunition. Safe gun storage saves lives. Learn how to make your home safer at endfamilyfire.org. That's endfamilyfire.org. Brought to you by End Family Fire, Brady, and the Ad Council.
Did you know that every year, public school teachers spend nearly $500 of their own money for student supplies? At Donors Choose, we want students and teachers to have the tools they need for a great education. And now, more than ever, they need your help. Go to DonorsChoose.org and choose from teachers' requests that support reading, math, science, music, and more. Learn more at DonorsChoose.org.
Donors Choose. Support a classroom.
Build a future. Curating the most compelling stories and delivering them straight to your ears. You're listening to RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Killer. Baby. Kanye, this that 1970s flow, huh?
Yeah, I hear people talking about who high, who now. Man, they don't know we finna kill the game this year. Killer, yay, come on.
Street mergers, I legislated the nerve. I never hated on murders premeditated. Absurd, I hesitate. hesitated, observed, cock his spray, hit you from a block away. Drinking sake on the Suzuki, we in Osaka Bay. Playing soccer, stupid, stay in the sucker's place. Plug your ace, take your girl, f*** her face. She dealing with killer, so you love her taste. She swallowing killer, cause she love the taste. I got bored up with crooking, kitchen orders that I'm cooking, but got caught up with the tricks and would've thought I went from Brooklyn. It get boring just looking, did like Bill Cosby, pouring in the pudding. Now the dashboard is wetting from a hard tangled grammar. Interior, inferior, star spangled banner. Card game bananas, mom man and tanners. It's everywhere like the car came with hammers. He's back.
They trying to say he I hear saying he but our flow is the truest. The games and the nooses. Our girl is the models. They use the juices. Yeah, they say
every now and again, I miss this producing Kanye. You know, that was reaching way deep in the samples bag, snipping off a little piece, spinning it back and creating a whole new beat from it, and just using that ear. You know, I know everybody has to evolve and change and grow, but Purple Haze, that was a moment. Which reminds me, really has nothing to do with what we're talking about other than it involves Cam. I'm still disappointed that Dipset did not show up, really, to me, in any capacity in that verses.
They didn't have no chance, though, at all.
No, listen, Locks got heat. We know that we're not this person's friend right now, but Diddy makes sure that the performance is always going to be on point from anybody that came through that camp. So, you know, Freaky Zeke, Jim, Jules, Cam, they not disciplined. And we know that. They not disciplined like that, but they still had songs, you know? I just thought it would just be a little more cohesive. And it just wasn't. They were just obliterated. But it was still a good time.
It was a great time. But yeah, they didn't have no chance against the Locks. Dipset, they definitely got some bops, but they wasn't gonna rock. They wasn't gonna mess with the Locks.
You know, so
or shall I say Jada Kiss, really?
I mean, listen, Jada, how many people really thought like the New York song, because we know that was Fat Joe and Ja Rule, really, and Jada was on there, but nobody was really checking for that song. Nobody probably had that. No. Listen. I'm not talking about when it came out. I'm talking about when they were putting together their rundown, right? I know nobody was sitting there like, ooh, we gonna put New York in there and kill him. Nope, that was so unexpected and it just came off, you know?
I mean, it was only right, though.
Yeah.
It was only right. I mean, New York, you got Locks, Dipset, all from New York. It was only right that they play that record.
Harlem, you know, make it go up. But even Joe was looking like, I forgot that was my song. I forgot there's so much heat with that. He was an audience like, man, what's going on?
We need verses back, man. Come on, Swiss. Come on, Timbo.
You know, I don't know. I don't think so. I think that they would like it to, but so much has happened with the product. Because remember, I mean, we know why it's not going to happen now. But remember, there was supposed to be a Diddy versus JD in the fall. That just went away.
But that was around the time when I guess they were going through the whole lawsuit. So, I don't know. I know you interviewed Swiss, and I know you were talking about his car show or whatnot.
Drive on Hulu.
There was no mention of verses or anything like that?
So, you know, right now, it's still in the atmosphere. It's not gone. You know, it's about the culture, but there aren't any firm, dedicated plans right now. You know?
That really sucks.
I mean, I think people forget how educational Versus really was, too, because so many of the youth learned about, you know, catalog, some of that, got to see some fire performances. And you don't want to see anybody, well, we saw some people try and pick up the concept and do it, and it just didn't work.
Like who?
Somebody tried to do their own version of it. This is before we made the big jump and they got on board with Triller when it was still Instagrammable. Okay. And somebody tried to do their own version of it. And
interesting.
It wasn't good.
Because I was going to say, I mean, if Swiss and Timbo is not going to move forward with it some other musicians need to grab the ball and run with it. You don't have to call it verses. You could call it something else. But I mean, just like Smack with the whole battle rap, there's so many other companies that do the battle rap that are just as successful. So I don't know. JD, Diddy, one of you guys need to go ahead and
we
grab
know Diddy ain't gonna be doing anything for quite some time.
Rick Ross,
put Diddy on the shelf. He's gonna have to, have a seat and enjoy life a little bit or something, depending on what side you're on. We won't get into all of that. Listen, I forgot to mention how Grace and Jonathan met. Because, she was spilling all the tea on the stand. I shouldn't say it like that, but that's what was happening. She was giving the backstory. So they met in August of 2021. They met on the set of Ant-Man and Wasp. She was a movement director. And she said that Jonathan slipped his hairstylist his number to give to her. And that the relationship moved really quickly. And that after a matter of months, she said that, sounds like she's implying that he loved bomb her. And then after that, something turned dark and sinister. And, she said that they were having a lovely day last March. Really nice, discussing names of their future children and marriage. And then she said she saw the text message flash across the screen, and she grabbed his phone to see the text. And she alleges that he twisted her arm behind her back, squeezed and pried her fingers, and delivered a blow to the back of her head trying to get that phone. He then jumped out of the car, and prosecutors showed surveillance video of him picking her up and putting her back into the SUV several times. He's later seen grabbing her by the arm and swiftly leading her across the street before running away, with her chasing after him. So, we will have to see what happened. There are also some other women, allegedly from Jonathan's time in college, that the prosecution has spoken to in reference to his behavior, so to speak. So, we don't know what's going to happen, what's going to come down to it. I haven't seen the video footage yet. Depends on what you think. Was he trying to get away? Was he trying to avoid being hit by an irate woman? Was he the aggressor? Those are the type of things that are going to be looked at. She said that part of the reason why, because I wanted to know, remember I just told you, that they were discussing the whole thing about acting as if you were Coretta or Michelle, had to do with him wanting her to take responsibility for what happened that night. And, that she should stand up and hold herself to the standards of Michelle and Coretta. I'm trying to understand. I know what it means in theory, but as far as this, what does that mean? What do you think Coretta and Michelle were doing in the privacy of their own home if they were having a disagreement with their spouse? We don't know. Michelle wrote a whole book where she said she was angry with Barack for a number of years. So we don't know what happens in those moments. You're just saying, make sure that when we're out in public, you're on point. Which I do understand, but I don't know. If you know that you got a wild one, and you also know that you are out here shaking and moving, one of those activities has to go. Because it is always going to end up in something like this. And that's what we don't want to see. So we will keep you updated, of course, as to what is happening with that case, because, there's a lot of money riding on it. Shout out to Shannon in the chat. She says the Isley Brothers versus was the best. It was definitely one of them. It was educational. I know people were mad at Steve Harvey talking, but I'm gonna be honest. Sometimes it was too long. See, I just said. Listen, I understand that. I do understand that. But sometimes I like to hear, feel like you're listening in on the uncle's conversation or whatever and get that perspective. But it was a little lengthy. it did start to stretch a little bit. Fahima says there might be a Diddy's versus the DA if people keep talking. People keep saying that. I don't know. I really don't know. There's a lot to that, but it certainly seems like, people are interested in some form or fashion of that coming into play. Have we heard of anyone attempting to put forth criminal charges against him since all of this has happened? We know about the civil suits, but I haven't heard about anyone attempting, because I think for some of the crimes, the statute of limitations has not run out in theory, but I know that initially when asked, NYPD said they were not opening an investigation on him. So we will have to see how that develops. Listen, I know I mentioned Carlos King and that he did an interview with Latavia Robinson, formerly of Destiny's Child. But in addition to that, we know his day job is that of reality TV producer. So today it was announced that WeTV has added a Carlos King production to their schedule. This series is going to be called Bold and Bougie, and it's currently in production. It's going to debut next year, and it will star a group of Atlanta women. Most of them are prior reality show vets, of course. So when we come forward, I will break down the cast listing for you on who's going to be on Bold and Bougie. And also, I feel like Andy had something to add. So I'm going to ask him. No, maybe not. I thought you had something to add. Okay. Well, then I'll just read the chat quotes because there's some in there too. All of that and more. You're locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
We wish you a holiday season filled with peace and love and a new year rich with blessings. Mask up and stay safe. From all of us at KBLA Talk 1580.
People making lists, buying special gifts.
Now. We tend not to think about now. We dream about tomorrow, relive yesterday. But right now in front of us is victory over cancer. Right now, cancer research funded by the V Foundation is leading to better treatments and saving lives. Victory over cancer is there for the taking by you, because today's cancer research is tomorrow's victory. Learn more at v.org.
Don't give up. Don't ever give up.
Day one, the hardest day, the day you hear.
This is a type of blood cancer.
But day one is just one day. At the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, we are here to help you move past day one.
On day 45, I discovered an online community who shared great tips for in-treatment care.
On day 185, LLS helped me file my insurance claims properly.
To learn more and get help on day 2, day 28, or any day, please visit LLS.org or call 1-800-955-4572.
Meet Cheryl. Hey. She's on vacation and lost in the moment. Unfortunately, so is her Chase debit card.
It's gotta be somewhere.
Maybe she lost it at salsa night.
These skirts should have pockets.
Or maybe she lost it at Pilates.
3 and 2 and...
But she's not worried. With the Chase mobile app, she can lock her card till it turns up. Tools that help protect. One bank that puts you in control. Visit chase.com/checking. Chase, make more of what's yours.
Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. Stay Housed LA has the resources you need to know your rights and the legal support to back them up. The COVID-19 pandemic has cost people their jobs and livelihoods. This has left an estimated 1/3 of households not being able to make rent and facing losing their homes. This is a fear no one in our community should have to face. You have rights, though, and Stay Housed LA is here to help. Stay Housed LA is a partnership between the County of Los Angeles, the City of Los Angeles, and local community and legal service providers. Together, they provide tenants with the information and support needed to exercise their rights so they can remain safely in their homes. Find out more about your rights by participating in a virtual tenant workshop. Get the legal assistance you need. Find additional resources in Los Angeles County and the City of Los Angeles. Stay connected to Stay Housed LA County for updates. This and more at stayhousedla.org. Stay connected to Stay Housed LA for updates. This and more at stayhousedla.org. That's stayhousedla.org. Or call their hotline at 213-694-0040. We've got your black with a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Keeping you informed, entertained, and always ahead of the curve. This is RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
You are locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. As I always mention, the chat, they have their own dialogue going over there. Shannon in the chat says, no, but Kimura's house caught on fire. And it is true. Kimura Simmons. Does she still use Simmons? What is it just back to Kimura Lee? Can't remember. She's been through a couple marriages. But her fireplace caught on fire, and luckily she said no one was hurt. But, nerves were frayed. We don't know how it caught on fire. And we are not implying that there was any wrongdoing, but it is interesting that the chimney and the fireplace just randomly caught on fire. Oh no. The internet. They're going to put things together, even if you don't think that they deserve to be together. But we're just letting you know that Kimura's chimney did catch on fire. Okay, I promised to let you know who is going to be on Bold and Bougie. That really sounds like a sketch name. I'm not loving the name, but we'll go ahead with it. At any rate, the cast includes Malaysia Pargo, formerly of Basketball Wives. She is the ex-wife of Gennaro Pargo. He played for the Lakers for a minute. Okay, see. Tamika Foster. We know that Tamika Foster is the ex-wife of Usher Raymond. She was on another reality show that was on VH1, Hollywood Exes, that was created and produced by a friend of mine. And, I have to see if I can get him on the show. That would be good. Gocha Hawkins, she's also on the show. Princess Banton Lofters, she is credited as one of the creators and executive producers of Real Housewives of Atlanta. And Crystal Smith, that is Neo's ex-wife. And the show is basically following the group as they refuse to let societal expectations or age define them. So these women this is the log line of the show. And the log line means, the synopsis, the summary, the main idea of what this series is going to be about. So basically, these women have spent their entire lives being cheerleaders for others. Now it's their turn to be the center of attention as they support each other and form an unbreakable sisterhood. In each hour-long episode, we will witness the growing pains that come from love, loss, and hangovers because they still know how to have a good time. Are you interested? Does that sound like something you're trying to see, take in? Fahima says, Major's telling his ex to conform herself like Michelle Obama and Coretta Scott King sounds, as CeeLo Green would say, crazy, especially if she's lying. Well, I don't think that she's lying because I believe that she recorded him saying it and they played it in court. So, he said it. Again, we just really, really don't know the complete context behind it. You could just be saying, conduct yourself in a more dignified manner. I'm not sure. It just is interesting though. It is interesting to see. I don't know. I got a feeling that there's going to be more from this case that is going to have people being like, but we'll have to see. We're waiting for that to happen. So back to this new Carlos King show. So like I said, Malaysia is the ex-wife of Gennaro Pargo. He was coaching for a minute. Not sure if he still was. We know she was on Basketball Wives. Tamika Foster obviously was a stylist before she and Usher got married. She was on the Atlanta version of Hollywood Exes, because, there was one that took place here in Los Angeles, and pretty much Atlanta, LA, that's where you're going to find a plethora of reality shows. And then, New York, naturally, a little bit of Miami. I'm not sure if Houston is on the map. Not yet. I mean, I know that there are reality shows that happen there. I'm talking about with these wives, significant other type of shows, so to speak. So, Princess, as I mentioned, she is billed as a talent scout, local business owner, mom, and of course, as I mentioned, the creative and executive producer behind The Real Housewives of Atlanta. And Crystal, Neo's ex-wife, is opening a restaurant and dealing with being a single mother of 3 and, her nasty divorce filing. So we can expect to see that dropping next year, right? And they say that there are going to be raw and authentic moments, unapologetically free. These women are going to be maneuvering, and we're going to see how it all breaks out. I don't know. So I might tap in. I'm curious to see what's going on. Might be a little interesting. I don't know. But in some ways, though, again, this is no shade, because like I said, I might tap in. But I'm a little tired of the, my broken heart from the star. Let me rebuild my life and move ahead. Not that it's not a real thing. People are getting over relationships and restarting every day. But just feels, I don't know, not fresh. But we'll have to see. Maybe they have a twist for us. Listen, when we come forward, we're going to get into more trending topics and headlines. Hour two. We're going to talk about Jamie Foxx. Not only did Jamie say he's thankful to be walking again, he heard y'all. He heard what you guys had to say about him. We're going to get into that and some more stories. We're also going to talk about Angelina Jolie wanting to leave LA and find out what Piston is taking responsibility, what former Piston, for Draymond Green and his activities. All of that and more on the other side. You're locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580.
I live in the zoo, I run scandal with savages. All my get together to gather loot. Bodyguard for what dog I'd rather shoot. I go to war, old Tim, batted boots. Hand a gargle and a parachute. Y'all don't even know the name of my flip. It was touch me